Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you are on. We are on Facebook Live today. I believe yesterday some of you guys, I'm sure were trying to get on, and I was having some issues with trying to get the right place on my Facebook Live to work. And so I think I ended up with just a recording on there rather than actually a live video. I did do the live. It just did not record or did not post at the same time that I was talking. So today we already have people on there, so I can see numbers, and so that's good. If you are on the live video today, if I could have you say hello, I would greatly appreciate that. I love the feedback, all the back and forth that we have. That makes it a lot more fun for me. The energy is much better that way. I enjoy it a lot. We had the opportunity over the course of a week ago to do our first 3-day summit, and I have spent the last basically, let's say, 8 days talking to students who were on there. Wendy, I know, was on there. Hey, Wendy, how are you? And one of the most the best compliments or comments, should I say, that I've been getting is, "Oh, I appreciate that, Wendy. How nice of you." And so you got way too many people giving you grief or giving you information to give me grief. So we're just going to stay with Pip, okay, Wendy? That would be good. And so anyway, one of the things that comment I keep hearing from people is how we were able to make a 3-day virtual presentation feel like we were back in a hotel room like we had done before. So I'm very, very happy that the results of the presentation were that it felt like we were in each other's same company, and so that was good. We're going to do another 3-day training on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Everybody that was at the last one, Wendy, Rob, you guys are invited to go to the next one. And some of you guys I've sent emails to, and I'm going to say it on here. I do want to have one-on-one phone call with you. So Rob, I need to talk to you. I've already talked to Wendy and Kevin. I've talked to a lot of different people, but I want to talk to everybody. And the reason I want to talk to everybody, it's that sales follow-up. How do I know that we're doing what we need to do with the presentation if we're not getting the feedback? And so we're going to be going on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And like I said, everybody that was on the last one, you're invited to come to this one. If you weren't on the last one and you want to get to this next one, first of all, if you guys that are going to be coming on it again, if you want to invite anybody else, there is obviously incentives for you guys to do that. If you are new and you want to get on there, go to burbanksummit.com and you can sign up there. Yes, there's a fee to do it. And so I want to make sure that you guys do that. Just private message me and I will get to you, my friend. And so just, private message me on Facebook. I don't get it. I know it's been a crazy time for a lot of us, Rob. I get you. That's for sure. We have a lot going on in our life too, so it's awesome, and it's good to be busy, because if you're not busy, the alternative, I think, is not good. So just make sure you guys go to the Burbank Summit if you want to get signed up for it. Click on there, and yes, there's a cost to do it. I will say, I don't know, private message me, and we should be able to get it. I don't know why it's doing that on the bad request. Give it a shot. Try it again. Multiple people have told me there's been issues. Try it a second or third time. Either way, you can private message me, and I will make sure we get you figured out one way or another. For you guys that are having any problems with that, not an issue whatsoever. We'll get it taken care of one way or another. But yeah, feedback. We talk a lot about sales. We're talking a lot about talking to people with communication. And if I can't get feedback from somebody, I don't know what they need. I don't know what they want. I don't know what they need from me as a thanks, Wendy. You just made my day. Best $100 you've ever spent. That is awesome. And the cool part about it, Wendy, it's 100% money back guarantee. I'm going to knock on wood. If Steve Hipple was here, I'd knock on his head because we haven't had to give any money back yet. So that means everybody was satisfied. I think it's worth way more than $100, but obviously you're the customer. I'm not. The main thing I want to say is our next one is actually going to be more time. We're going to do 6 hours each day. We're going to do noon to 6 every day, because we're going to spend more time in breakout rooms. The one request that I've gotten is the students want to spend more time in breakout rooms solving problems, talking to each other, getting to know each other. So we're definitely going to listen to the customers and make sure that we do that for all of our students. So there'll be more time for breakout rooms and getting to know each other, and obviously solving the different questions and problems that we have throughout the weekend. So there'll be a lot more of that. We'll still do question and answer times, and we did some extra time for that. So we'll make sure everybody gets all their questions answered. I think, Wendy, your husband, Kevin, is coming to our next one, or at least that's the plan. Hopefully he can be on there. The days are a little different. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's a week from today, 9th, 10th, and 11th. The reason we are doing the 9th, 10th, and 11th is because we want to make sure that we get different schedules acclimated there. Some people told me that they couldn't make Saturday, Sunday, so we changed it for this one to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we'll be doing more of these moving forward. And obviously, we'll make sure that you guys got the opportunity. Well, Michael, there's reasons we can't get you into the training. There's specific reasons. No, I don't know why you guys are having some problems, but this is feedback. And this is one of the reasons I'm doing the Facebook Live, is to hear from you guys. I can't always hear from everybody. So I want to make sure you're telling me if you're having problems getting logged into that. And Michael, you shouldn't have an issue because we got you already on from last time. But if that's what you're talking about, Michael, we'll make sure you get logged in and get you taken care of. We'll get you the login that we need. And so just make sure you guys are getting to us. If you have any questions, you can send private message to me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer things there. We can obviously send things to info@Burbank Companies as well. Pretty easy guy to get in touch with. I'm a very low security kind of guy. So please message me if you have any questions whatsoever. Please make sure you guys, and I'm reading things as things go up here, and Casey's talking about using the elevator speech that Steve taught him. That's awesome. Steve and I had the opportunity to do some teaching, not on sales this last weekend. One of the questions we're starting to get, and we knew we would get this, we started everything out with sales training. Now, the one thing I want to do is I want to change that to sales and communication, because it's not just sales. I was talking to Christy Corbin this morning, and one of the things we just discussed was that the training we did on the Burbank Summit was not just sales. It was for anybody with any type of communication. And so if we can learn to communicate better, we're going to be better at any job that we have, any real estate investing that we do. If you're trying to find private money to do deals, it doesn't matter what your business, doesn't matter what you're trying to do with it. The communication skills are going to greatly enhance everything that you do. That's why I'm so excited about talking about the sales training. However, since we are all real estate investors in our background, meaning Steve and Bradley and Monica and Dan and I, we're getting questions from our students, hey, are you going to be doing real estate trainings? And we tried not to on this first one to get people confused. But the answer is yes, we're doing real estate trainings. We already had some people sign up for advanced real estate trainings, and Steve and I, and Bradley, I guess, was there. Bradley didn't do much, so I'm not going to give him much shout out there. But we started working with one of our students over the weekend, and we're started to record those sessions, so we'll have, obviously, recordings available. Those of you guys that are looking for the recordings of our 3-day summit, I know we're working on getting those cleaned up. There's a lot of background noise in there. We're going to record this next one as well. So we'll try to make sure we get all the recordings to you guys. It is taking us a little longer to do that than we thought, but we'll definitely get the recordings out to the people that were the VIPs on that as well. We want to make sure you guys are getting all the information that you need, and more importantly, the support. So I'm going to say something to Rebecca. She sent a nice message on Facebook this morning. And Rebecca, I know if she's not at work, she's always on these Facebook Lives. She's probably working today. But the point I want to make about Rebecca is she made some really nice comments on Facebook about the training that we did over the weekend, this weekend on some real estate training. So we look forward to delivering more of that kind of stuff, because I know Steve and I have talked about this. Our passion, we all do real estate, but our passion is the teaching side of it. We really enjoy helping people get from where they're at to where they want to be. And when I can talk to somebody like Rob and realize that when I first met Rob and Pam years ago in Montreal, you could just tell, and Rob will definitely agree with me, there was kind of a deer in the headlights look, the fear, and we've all been there, we've all had that. And fear is a great motivator. Here's a quote for you. You'll run a lot faster scared than you will any other way. I find it interesting that people like Vince Lee are using things that I've said and they're quoting me. I don't know if I've ever said an original quote in my life. I've stolen a lot of quotes, never passed them off as mine, but I have used a lot of other quotes. But there's one I don't think I've ever heard from anybody else is, you will run a lot faster scared than you will any other way. So as long as you have a little bit of fear, you're going to be motivated. So fear's a good motivator in everything that we do. And so, a lot of housekeeping things, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Obviously, we'll talk more about that before we get off our Facebook Live. What I wanted to talk to today, I think the one topic that we got the most comments on, and Casey, I'm excited that you're going to be on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's going to be awesome. At least the 9th and the 10th. I know you're having some scheduling on some of the other stuff, but one of the things that we talked about over the weekend, and it was another gentleman that helps us with Burbank. His name is Sam Musa. Many of you guys know Sam. Sam's a Canadian, for all the Canadians on the call today. And Sam is very, what's the word I want to use? Passionate? Would that be a good word? Sam was like a caged tiger. When he got ready to start his presentation, he just like jumped out of his seat and he was ready to go. Now, the difference with Sam over the course of our summit was that Sam was still in Canada while the rest of us were at my house. When we do our next summit, it's going to be a little different again because I don't know. I know Bradley is going to be here with me. I'm not sure if Dan's going to be here when we do the training, but I know Steve isn't coming back to the U.S. for a while. They made him quarantine. Monica's back in Puerto Rico, so she won't be there as well. But Sam definitely has some energy to share. So we're all going to be kind of in some different locations, so it'll be a little bit different dynamic, but we're going to work it through, and that's the way the new world is, that we're all in separate locations to do stuff. But Sam talked a lot about something called NLP. Now, if you had a chance to watch the recording from yesterday, I talked a little bit about NLP. I'm going to talk more about NLP today, and what I want to talk about are something called embedded commands. Embedded commands, and that was what I put on the title up there. Now, first of all, before we even get into the NLP side of this, neuro-linguistic programming is what that's called. I know NLP stands for something else not IT. I can't even think of the word. Artificial intelligence, AI. It has something to do with that as well. And so, but this is a totally different type of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. You can look it up. A couple of guys back in the 70s actually did some studies on this and created it. And they didn't really create NLP. What they did is they studied patterns that other people were using, and then they called it NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming. Alan, all the way from New York City. Great to see you, my friend. Or at least the New York City area is where I met you. Anyway, and so what the NLP really does is it helps you break down barriers. When you're trying to do anything, and I don't care what it is, and we could put the science behind this if you wanted to, when you're trying to move something, there's force, there's friction, there's all this stuff that's pushing against you. Could even be gravity. When I'm trying to get you to respond in a certain way, you're going to have preconceived resistances. Those resistances could be real, they could be conscious, they could be subconscious. They could be resistances based on the experience that you've had in your life. If you went to a jewelry store and you wanted to buy some jewelry, and for whatever reason, the salesperson at the jewelry store, you didn't like them, and they came across as abrasive, they came across as pushy, as arm twisters, maybe they came across as in a way that you really disliked. Well, guess what happens? Your conscious mind remembers that, and so does your subconscious mind remember that. And so the next time you go to a jewelry store, you may already have a barrier, a preconceived barrier because of the experience you had before, and that it's going to keep you from making decisions in a proper way today. So what we do with NLP is we use NLP to break down that resistance or those barriers. Now I'm going to go back to the very beginning because we talked about rapport. Why do we build rapport? We build rapport so that we can have commonality. If I can find commonality between me and the customer, me and the person I'm trying to communicate with, I can then have them act in what's called a predictable manner. If somebody acts predictably, I know what they're going to say most of the time. And Casey will laugh when I say this, but I know after talking to Casey just a couple of times that I'm pretty sure she's going to give her brother some type of grief the next time I talk to her. her brother Corey is going to get some grief from Casey. And Corey's going to realize it because that is the predictability. If you talk to any of my brothers, they would probably give you a lot of grief about me because that's the predictability if you know them whatsoever. Why do you know that? Because the commonality is Casey and Corey are brother and sister, and I know, Casey, you're way cooler than your brother, and I hope he hears this sometime. Casey, you're so cool, much cooler than your brother, you have to tell people about that. So you're getting that commonality, and that's the rapport that I'm building with Casey and Corey. So you're always doing that. So how does this relate into NLP? We have what are both conscious thoughts and subconscious thoughts. NLP strives to really focus on the subconscious, the things that you maybe don't even know that you hear. And I think that's what's so important about it is because it's breaking down barriers, breaking through resistance, getting through the experience that may be bad or good that somebody might have had. And you do this through certain types of phrasing and wording. One of the ways to use NLP at a high level is names. I talk a lot about remembering names. I use names. I think I've said hello to everybody on here. Talk to everybody on here. I've said your name as you came onto the call. Why? Because that's part of the NLP. But it's also way different than NLP in that it is respectful. And if you want to hear somebody, if you want to see somebody smile, the sound of their own name generally is music to their ears. So it's imperative we use names. We can then link, remember we're talking about the 3L sales system here, 3L's communication. We listen, lead, and link. I listen, use their name. I lead that then to link it to another behavior that I want to get out of the person that I'm talking to. Whether I'm asking them to agree on the place to go eat dinner with me. I know that conversation comes up all the time at our house. Well, what do you guys want for dinner? I don't care. I don't care. I've realized that some people do care even when they say I don't care. It tends to be my wife and 2 daughters. Because what will happen is, Dad, what do you want to eat? And what I say, well, what do you guys want? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Well, then let's go to Five Guys. I like Five Guys. Greasy, bad food. And then immediately they say, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. So what did they really do? They cared. But yet they told me, I don't care. I'm the person in the family that if I say I don't care, it means I don't care. But what we have to understand is these are all barriers that we have to overcome in the communication process. So one of the ways we do this is using names. I'll talk about that in just a second. Another way we do is something called embedded commands. We call them embedded commands. And so I may use words like, well, one may go to the back of the room and get enrolled. One may go back, and one might want to go to the back of the room and get signed up. And so why do I use words like may and might? Because they're soft, very soft words. I don't like to use the word, I'm going to tell you something. What do I always say? They say, I'm going to share something with you. It's a softer word. Because what do we immediately do? We're human beings. And some people are way more competitive. Some people are way more confrontational than others. And so I don't want that confrontation. I'm not a fan of confrontation. So how do I eliminate confrontation? I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I say that first right up front all the time. Now, most of you guys are going, Pip, you're never the smartest person in the room if there's anybody else in there with you. I appreciate that, Rob. You don't have to be mean about it. And so what I really want you guys to know is that I immediately want to take the confrontation off the table. If I say to you, I'm going to tell you something. Nobody likes to be told anything. We tell little kids what to do. We tell people, we don't want to be told. Nobody likes to be told things. Alan, I'd like to share something with you. That's so soft. It's so easy. I'm going to share something with you. Yeah. I don't say go to the back of the room and sign up. I say you might want to go to the back of the room and sign up. Why do I say you might? Because the conscious mind hears you might. It's soft. It's non-confrontational. But what does the subconscious mind hear? Go to the back of the room and sign up. That's what our subconscious hears. Go to the back of the room and sign up. You might want to go to the back of the room and sign up. Now, how do we do that? That's an embedded command. You might want to go to the back of the room and sign up. You might want to go to the back of the room and get your questions answered. This training might change your life. Now, that is exactly what an embedded command is. You can use them any day and every day in every way. You can use them in every conversation that you have. They work all the time. Do you have to practice them? Oh, yeah. You got to practice them a lot, or else you're going to sound really clunky, not very smooth. I don't think that's the right word or whatever. But hey, Peter, how are you doing? And so you want to be able to use this. I'm working with Peter on doing some sales videos. He wants to find people to do joint ventureships with him. We're going to use embedded commands when we do those videos. This is why it's so important to have somebody that understands this stuff. I'm not brilliant. I just learned this stuff. And I want to use it on a regular basis because more than anything, I know it works. I know on a regular basis it works because I've been doing it a long time. Now, how do we incorporate the name into the embedded command? So what was the embedded command I used? I said one might want to go to the back of the room and sign up. One might want to go to the back of the room and enroll in the program. So what I would do is instead of just saying one might, I would say one might, or I would say one, I apologize, I'm saying this wrong. I would say one may, Peter, go to the back of the room and sign up. And you actually say it like that. One might, Peter, go to the back of the room and sign up. And you always have the comma after the name. Because in this conscious mind, Peter hears one might, Peter, go to the back of the room and sign up. But in the subconscious mind, they get rid of the fluff and it says, Peter, go to the back of the room and sign up. And so it's a direct command, even though it sounds like a suggestion. I like to say that embedded commands are really suggestions because we use one may, one might be willing to, some people. We don't give a directive. We start with more of a suggestion, put a name in there, and then give the order or the command. That is really how an embedded command works. And if you learn to use these, Steve, on a regular basis, you can change your life. Now, I used one right there. It's not that hard if you get better at it. The problem is, Alan, people don't want to change. And so if I want Casey to make a change, I'm going to say things in a specific way. Now, I know you guys are thinking, wow, this sounds a little strange. I know many of you guys have had me in classes before. I have taught 3-day trainings to you. And Wendy was saying how she enjoyed the 3-day training we did at the summit a week ago. I used embedded commands from the first sentence on day 1. I used NLP from the first sentence on the first word out of my mouth was NLP. But until you point it out to the untrained mind, it sounds like normal conversation. It sounds like normal conversation. And so that's what we want to do is we want our sales and communication skills to sound normal. We want our sales and communication skills to sound like conversation. And if we can make it sound like conversation, it's not going to sound like we're selling somebody something. As soon as it starts to sound like you're selling somebody something, people's butt cheeks immediately start to squeeze together. I can't believe it took me 23 minutes to get butt cheeks on there, but I got it on there. It's all good. And so I cannot stress enough, if you learn these communication styles, they will definitely change the results that you get from a sales standpoint, from a communication standpoint, from an influential standpoint. Some of the best communicators in the world. And we can use presidents, prime ministers, religious leaders, whoever you want to use. They do a great job of communicating. They do a great job of utilizing these types of things. And most of you guys didn't even know they did it. Some of you might think that JFK was a great communicator. Some of you might think Ronald Reagan was a great communicator. Now, I use both of them so I can get on both sides of the political spectrum. Don't want to get on either side of that because I don't want to get into that argument at all. And so both people would be consider. I appreciate that, Wendy. Most people haven't. I had never heard of NLP until I started doing trainings. And so I was a speaker. And what was interesting about it, Wendy, was people said to me, they said, Pip, you're doing this naturally. I didn't know I was doing it naturally. I was just trying to be logical in how I talk to people. I don't want to be confrontational. That's one of my main issues. I'm not talking about politics, not going to get on either side of that because I don't want to be confrontational. That's just who I am. But NLP is a great way to learn how to get your point across without being confrontational. Because I guarantee if you went back to the trainings that we used to do in the hotel rooms, and you would look at all the trainers that used to work with Legacy and Rich Dad and stuff like that, I'm not knocking any of the other trainers in any way, but a lot of them would be considered a lot more pushy, I guess, and that's probably a bad word, but more upfront about what they wanted the students to do. And a lot of people would say, well, Pip, you're not pushy at all. You never twist an arm. And if you ask my business partner, Dan, he would say, I give more commands than anybody else out there because it doesn't sound like a command. It's not like I'm saying drop and give me 20. I don't say that. But I might say something to the effect of, Peter, if you want to change your life, you may want to do some push-ups in that regard. And so you can suggestive say it, but it doesn't sound like an order. And if you say it in the right order, I didn't say it in the right order on purpose there. I want to make sure you guys see that you can say things in a manner and an order that will get a much better response out of every communication that you have. And what I hope people are going to learn from all of this, it's not just in sales. It's with your spouse, with your kids, in your church, if you're a teacher. I'm so excited because when I was on the call, or when we were on the summit last week, I made the comment that I would love to have a whole group of pastors that I could talk to. And he's not on here right now because I know he's working, but his name is Core. Core sent me a private message on Facebook, and he said, Pip, I'm already working with my pastor. We're going to get you a whole room full of preachers, ministers. I'll use the right word, probably better use the right word there. My goal is to be able to share this with not just sales. It's basic communication. And if we learn these communication, and I don't want to call them tips or tricks because I don't think that's what they are. It's not a tip. It's not a trick. It's information. But if you just look at things from a common sense standpoint, I don't care who's on my call with me today. Nobody, I guarantee none of you guys want to have direct orders. Nobody likes to be commanded to do things. Nobody likes that. But if we can say it in a way that we can still get the command out to somebody and do it in a more suggestive, subconscious level way, we can get a result that other people aren't getting. Do things that other people aren't doing to get a result that other people aren't getting. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same result. So we can use embedded commands all day long. And if you use them right, you can take your communication to a whole nother level. And so, you can use, what's the word you call it? If you use, instead of does, you use doesn't. What's that, a contraction? Does not? So you could say something like, one doesn't have to, Joe, enjoy this time that we have together. So I'm being very non-confrontational. One doesn't have to enjoy, is what I'm saying. But what is Joe hearing? Joe's hearing, enjoy this time together. Joe, enjoy this time we have together. So you could do a lot of different things with the English language, and I'm sure you can do this in other languages too. I can barely speak English, so I don't know how it would work in Spanish or other languages. But I guarantee if you are more along the lines of suggesting rather than commanding, people will give you a lot better response on anything that you do. So that's a little bit more about embedded commands, NLP. I'm going to say this again, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. We're going to be doing another 3-day training. It's the same one we did last weekend, but it's going to be a little bit longer. And Wendy, you already gave me the nicest compliment ever. She said it was the best $100 she ever spent. That makes my day. I know for a fact if you go there for those 3 days, you're going to get your money's worth and then some. You're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to hear some things that you didn't hear before. And here's the cool part about it. I know some of you guys are going, well, I've already seen it once. Should I see it again? I cannot stress how many times I've had people come back and see my presentations a second, third, and fourth time. And here's what they say. They say, Pip, oh, this was great. You added a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't add anything. Presentation was going to be exactly the same there was the time before. But why did they think I added something? Because they remember more. The more times you hear something, the more you're going to remember it. If you hear something once, you remember a percentage of it. If you hear something twice, you'll remember a higher percentage. You hear something 3 or 4, 5, 6 times. I've been told, statistically speaking, people need to hear things 5 to 7 times before they remember it. So in order to use these things, you got to hear them over and over and over again. So a lot of sharing we're going to do on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. I'm excited. It's going to be a blast. What else did I want to say? A couple of things. Please do me a favor. Share these videos with other people. Subscribe on YouTube. I know, and I said this the other day, if you don't toot your own tutor, your tutor will never get tooted. So I'm going to toot my own tutor here. I'm going to be the best salesperson I can be for me and Burbank. That's what I want to do. So please make sure you're on, you're subscribing on my YouTube channel. Share these videos with anybody you think it can help. All the videos are on YouTube right now. I've also got them on Facebook. I've got them on my, not only on my wall, but on my page, whatever that means. So people are helping me with that stuff because I'm not real good with the technology. I've said that a billion times. What else did I want to say? I also want to say this. If you have any specific questions, if you're having problems with the link, just send me a message on my personal message on Facebook, or if you have my email, send me an email. I'll make sure we get you helped on that. That is not a problem whatsoever. Last thing I got to share, and I shared this last night when I did my last Facebook Live, but I don't think many people heard it. And so I know I told myself I'd never be one of those dads that brag, but I'm going to brag for a second. For those of you guys that are local here, my daughter or our kids, whatever you want to call it, they are going to be playing in the Final Four in the state volleyball tournament on Thursday and Friday. So I am literally over the moon with how excited I am about that. Lots of family are going to be able to come and see Carson play. Riley and I, both of us, and Riley's my oldest daughter. She and I are the only two in our family now that have not got to play in the state tournament. My wife did, and now my youngest Carson gets to. So Riley and I are a little bit upset about that, but we're also so happy for her as well. So we're excited for the Platte County Pirates. So please share this with somebody. Let them know. I'm so excited. I can't tell you how cool that is for me as a dad. And I know you guys, all his parents, have had proud moments. So I got the microphone right now. I'm going to share that with everybody because it's really been a cool thing for us. And I'm looking forward to Thursday and Friday. Didn't sleep well last night. So excited for the game already. I don't know if I told my wife or daughter that, but I didn't sleep well because I'm so excited. Probably won't sleep good the next 2 nights because I just can't tell you how much fun it's going to be to see those girls out there doing the best they possibly can. So, guys, please make sure you find somebody you know, somebody you don't know, somebody you just meet, turn to them and say you're going to be all right because we're all going to be all right. So have a great day, guys. We'll do another Facebook Live. I'm going to try to do one again tomorrow because I'm not doing anything on Thursday and Friday unless it's a celebratory Facebook Live. So please, if you need anything from us, send me a private Facebook message. Go to burbanksummit.com. If you're having problems with that, let us know and we'll get it fixed. Talk to you soon, guys. Have a great day.